Alright, let's watch it. Keeping up to date with Sweet Baby Inc. Alright, let's do it. Let's see it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rip here. So today we're going to be talking about some more Sweet Baby Inc. related drama. Yes, it must be a day that ends in Y because we have another controversy that is facing this woke consulting firm. We're going to be looking at several things involving Sweet Baby Inc. today. We're going to be looking at some issues with their website where some people are asking, is this a harmless error? Or is there some trouble ahead for the company? On top of that, it appears that the CEO of the company, Kim Belair, has teamed up with a journalist to make a hit piece trying to once again make Sweet Baby the victim of a supposed harassment campaign. And also we'll see them supporting...
That is always so rich to hear when they literally harassed the guy that made a Steam group page. That didn't even say anything bad. It was just to like notify people what Sweet Baby Inc. worked for. It was never like derogatory. It was just like them talking and like making lists. Yeah.
The narrative or the idea that people who criticize Sweet Baby should be removed off of social media. So let's get into this. The first story here is involving a potential shutdown of their website. So it's gone offline, and a lot of people are, you know, debating whether this is a permanent shutdown or just a glitch. Now, as reported by That Park Place here, there was a brief moment about 2 days ago where the website was down, and that was confirmed by Is It Down Right Now, that website that tracks that sort of thing. And yeah, it seemed like there was a 408 request timeout error, which again could be harmless, or it could be signs of them actually trying to shut down their site. But knowing everything with Sweet Baby, they have had some very suspicious behavior on their website, shutting things down to remove things like client lists. And
yeah, they did that with, I think it was Square Enix and a couple of other companies when they were trying to like change stuff. I do remember that.
The projects they've worked on, typically to protect themselves and the parties they work with from being discovered. And also, as you can see, it was reported that, yes, it was down for basically all of the 19th, but it would come back on the 20th. However, as of recording right now on the 21st, if you go to sweetbabyinc.com, once again, you can see nothing's happening. So it begs the question, is this actually some ongoing error for the past 2 or 3 days? Or is there something going on with Sweet Baby? We'll have to wait and see. But what
if someone's like trying to take down the website and it's not them? That's also possible. People really hate Sweet Baby. I wouldn't put it past them either. Like they're, you know, trolling the servers or whatever.
We do know right now is that there is a very bizarre article that's getting a lot of attention right now from Game Developer. So we talked about this briefly on the alt channel, but I really want to get into this because the article itself is quite insane. And by the way, also thank you to all the support on the alt channel. We just broke
When Sweet Baby Inc. was targeted for their advocacy efforts this year, a Discord server and a Steam community group played a role in their harassment. This is a blatant fucking lie.
100k subs on there, so yeah, I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to check it out. But anyways, let's get back to the story. Here's the headline. When Sweet Baby Inc. was targeted for their advocacy efforts earlier this year, a Discord server and a Steam community group played a role in their harassment. We ask, do Valve and Discord consider this within their terms of service? I mean, what month is it? Like, why are we talking about this Sweet Baby Inc. harassment campaign that was really only relevant back in March, and now we're talking about it in late December? It's very bizarre, but you'll see pretty quickly they got hit.
Oh, the community notes.
With a community note, the best feature on Twitter, hands down. Basically disputing everything they're saying and also providing a bunch of links. They literally did more research than the journalist who made this.
I remember it too, because they were like DMing Valve and opening tickets, and Valve basically GigaChat standed and said, no, this is not against TOS because they're not inciting harassment. They're just showing facts on a group. They're not telling people not to buy things. It's just a notification. It's not like they didn't even state on the group itself like, oh, this is a woke like fucking team and they've worked on these games. They literally just said, I remember it too, it was very clear, it was in the group, it was at the top, and it said, this is a group dedicated, I'm paraphrasing, to showing what games Sweet Baby Inc. has contributed to or worked on or consulted. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like targeted harassment. It's just a statement of fact, and that's when they started taking down clients on their actual website, like sweetbabyinc.com. That's when they took down all the stuff, and people couldn't like look into it unless they did some really, really deep down nitty gritty research.
This article, but you can see, based on the fact there's 600 likes and nearly 1,500 comments, people are roasting the hell out of this article. Now, before we get into it, who made this article? Well, we'll see.
A game journalist that's never played video games and hates gamers, even though they're a gaming journalist.
See right here that this is the individual, Bryant Francis, who suspiciously has changed these links. He wanted to go to the links here for his Twitter or his LinkedIn. They're both just leading you to a generic twitter.com link. So I guess they're trying to hide this because of the backlash they're getting for the article. But of course, it's not very hard to find. And of course, just like everyone else in the industry, their account is private.
It's just, the jokes write themselves, man. That...
And another guarantee
it's beautiful.
with
I don't know.
Pronouns in bio. Okay, you just
it's
expect
very
at this
powerful.
point. And looking through his resume here, he has all these projects that he...
Ways to inclusively design fat characters in games. Developers from all kinds of backgrounds discussing their processes for including fat characters and expanding body diversity. I really hate the word body diversity. Body diversity is not a thing when you're extremely obese and you stuff your face full of burgers. That just means you really, really love food. You having a little bit of chub on your tummy, or you're a little bit fucking chunky, like, okay, maybe you just don't work out and you eat a lot of food. When you're obese, that's a bit different. That's not you being like, oh, I just can't fucking do anything. I love ordering 3 Big Macs and stuffing them in my mouth. That one stood out to me.
He's very proud of including one, ways to inclusively design fat characters in games. How wholesome Chungus. But anyways, let's get to the article finally. So, they beg the question, why are Valve and Discord permitting harassment against Sweet Baby Inc.? Well, let's get down here.
And again, I can't stress this enough. There are correct ways of having fat characters in video games. There are plenty of fat characters in video games. It's just when you force them and they don't fit the narrative of their story and you don't make them interesting and their entire identity is being fat, that's insane to me. Like, Roadhog is big and fat, for example. Chatter brought up Roadhog from Overwatch. He's big and fat, but he still has, like, a hook that brings people to him, and then he shoots them with his little fucking gun. And he has a pig face, and it's funny, and it's a good character design. It makes sense. They're not fat for the sake of being fat. That's not their identity.
Narrative consulting group Sweet Baby Inc. has become the target of an online harassment campaign for its consulting work on games like Alan Wake 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I find it very funny they list these 3 games as like a flex to show like proof of concept.
Yeah, and Suicide Squad failed. Marvel Spider-Man had a controversy regarding putting pronouns into the Spanish language where they're gender neutral, and it doesn't make any grammatical sense because the language has been around for thousands of years. Like, not thousands, okay, let's say like 800 years, but still. Alan Wake 2 didn't even sell that well. It was just like a really mid-game that didn't have any advertising. It's not a W. It was really, really not that good.
For Sweet Baby, but
or not that good in terms of making money.
A commercial failure. At this point, they haven't even sold enough units to break even. And that's to pay EA back the money they got from them. So they literally have not made a single dollar, despite selling close to 2 million units for that game. It's clearly a big financial disaster for Remedy Games. And on top of that, we know Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, an absolute failure. It's literally going to be shutting down its live service aspect. And yeah, but let's continue on. Why? The answer is frustratingly hard to put down into words. Users on websites like Twitter and Kiwi Farms, a site known for organizing sometimes violent harassment campaigns operating under the name Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, have singled out the agency for allegedly having overarching influence on these games, and it accused it of forcibly injecting a political agenda into them by advocating advocating for diversity.
Yeah, that happened with Spider-Man. It did. They advocated for having gender-neutral pronouns and grammatical structure in sentences in the Spanish version of Marvel's Spider-Man. It's not made up. The chuds didn't make it up and gaslight everyone. This actually happened, and it pissed off a bunch of people who speak Spanish in the streaming world.
Well, that is a political agenda, by the way, and that's exactly what they did, including race swapping characters and things like that. We all know the backstory of Sweet Baby Inc., but this is a very bizarre description of...
And also bringing up kiwi farms, yeah, I don't know, man. A side note for organizing and sometimes violent harassment campaigns. Citation needed. I bet you the citation right here is their own article. I love it when game journals do that. They love to cite their own articles as evidence. It's so good. You're not even supposed to do that in a paper as citing your own evidence in a paper. That's the number one rule of not doing, and they still do it anyway because they're so entitled and self-absorbed.
Sweet Baby Inc. detected. They're talking about Twitter and kiwi farms. It was a Steam curation group. This is the scary...
Look, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Website ink detector reviews. Website, blah, 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 Discord. They don't say anything about don't buy their games. They don't say anything about blah, 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 woke, woke, woke. The trigger words that people fucking hate, right? And it's, I just hate this shit. It's just a freaking group, man. Why are you so scared?
Profile, by the way. This is the scary Steam group that has so many Jimmys Russell and people writing articles about it literally months and months after it first popped up and grew in popularity. But anyways, this miscategorization of who's doing this has always been a theme for Kim Belair especially. She's tried to act like it's...
You know what's funny? I have seen groups on Steam that let you know what games are, what is it called? Influenced or made by studios that are influenced by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. So that seems to be fine. It doesn't make people not want to buy them or play, not want to play and buy them. Sorry, I'm fucking talking too fast. I'm thinking. So that's perfectly fine. But for some reason, having Sweet Baby Inc. is a bad and it's a harassment thing. I don't know. It seems kind of weird. That you're just hiding something, or you're getting so offended and defensive.
A bunch of people on 4chan and other websites, but at the end of the day, I think there's just a collective of people who don't like Sweet Baby and used services like Sweet Baby Inc. detected. But let's continue on. Well, the studio's contributions happen mostly on micro level, contributing story feedback, helping...
Untrue. Again, I can't help but bring up the pronoun shit. Yeah, you've changed a fundamental design. After English, Spanish and Chinese are one of the top languages played in video games on Steam, I'm pretty sure. It's English, Spanish, Chinese, Russian, German, Italian, and French. French might be a little bit more up there because there's more countries. But my point is, it's you influenced a massive community. Yeah, Japanese, but you get my point. Right? It's Spanish speaking language is a massive community.
Workshop narrative beats, and writing flavor text and barks with the lens of inclusivity in mind. Yes, so there is your agenda. You're not just providing narrative consulting. Everything is done with inclusivity in mind. And yeah, turns out people don't...
And they just gaslight, and they're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, chat. It's not that big of a deal. Chadlana talking about this kind of thing is totally blowing it out of proportion. It's if they changed the language of Russian to fit Spider-Man and I played the game, I would be fuming. I guess maybe because English-speaking people don't understand, but when you change the grammar of a language that very much structures itself around pronouns and it being correct and it sounding correct, grammatically correct, it sounds stupid. Literally, it sounds fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's like gibberish.
Really like that. They find it really annoying and a bunch of virtue signaling. But anyways, it says their work has been reframed as shoehorning black or LGBTQ characters into games for which they are not originally designed. Yeah, it happened. It literally happened with God of War, as well as at least a few other titles where they race swap characters for absolutely no reason. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. They randomly race swapped Deadshot's daughter for no reason at all.
They also randomly, who was it? The freezing woman. They blatantly made her like extremely, what is it called? Like almost condescendingly, like appear really stereotypically gay. Yeah, Mrs. Freeze. And they made her like no offense, but like they made her a butch lesbian, and people noticed, and they were like, well, if you wanted to make Mrs. Freeze, why didn't you make her like a pretty Mrs. Freeze version and not a gayified Mrs. Freeze? Like, why? Why can't we just have a gay person that just looks like a normal person? Like everyone else. There's no... You are being so condescending to everyone that isn't fitting the stereotype of being a butch lesbian. There are lesbians out there that aren't like butch and they don't appear butch or they don't look different from everyone else. It's just so weird. It's a connotation that I just can't help, or not connotation, a correlation that I can't help but notice every time someone makes a character and they make them gay. They just aggressively make them the worst stereotype possible that people don't even like half the time.
Like, yeah, they are doing these things that they're being accused of by these people who just observe what's happening in front of them. To continue on, it's a grim conspiracy theory built on out-of-context comments and a deliberate misreading of their mission statement, as well as racism, homophobia, and other layers of bigotry. Of course, they go down that route, saying this is all because of les bigots. Well, let's remind ourselves how this all happened in the first place, right? So we begin with Chris Kindred, Sweet Baby Inc. employee. Not a single article written by these woke journalists have ever acknowledged how the whole backlash against Sweet Baby escalated to...
Yeah, and then they say, anyway, report the fuck out of this group, and then they showed tickets of people reporting the group and saying that Valve, they were writing essays on Twitter. I don't know if he'll show them, but I remember seeing one back when this happened in February of them getting mad that Steam was ignoring them.
Levels that went viral.
What?
It was because in March, or actually late February, he made a post calling out Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, and not only told people to falsely report the Steam group, but also to report the personal account of Cabrutus, the man who started Sweet Baby Inc. Detected. Then, when we're talking about racism and all these things, we have individuals like this Lego Butts person, who is a Sweet Baby Inc. employee, who has said all these things, virtue signaling about racism here, saying people are spreading misinformation back in February, and they're just allowed to be racist in public. But people like Lego Butts here got criticism because they themselves are extremely racist while crying racism and bigotry when they're...
Well. If it isn't the consequences of my own actions, posting online and then people catching me in the act.
They're being criticized by people like users of Sweet Baby Inc. Detected. So here's some of the tweets. I had a nightmare that I was a white gamer. One of many tweets they made.
Not just white gamer, white male gamer. You can't play this down. White male gamer. Why is it a nightmare for you to be white and a male and a gamer?
Disparaging white people. Then you have this. I'm not going to...
And you think this is a good thing to post online? Huh. Hard R, too. Interesting. Yeah, that says a lot.
Read this. You can read it for yourself. It's actually kind of amazing that this tweet is still up, by the way. It's been used and heavily used for criticism against Sweet Baby, but they still haven't taken this tweet down, and neither have they taken down this one, which you literally have to...
Oh my god!
...to, like, hit a filter option to show you, because this has been labeled as violent speech. Okay, that's why people were going after people like Lego Butts, and also really just swiping their hand away at any claims of racism in the Sweet Baby Inc. detected group, because really the true racists here are the ones that working at Sweet Baby. But anyways, let's continue on with the article. In an interview...
The people that cry the most are always the ones that are guilty, I feel like. 99% of the time. I just...
With game developer Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair said the harassment they've been...
And I understand it was from 10 years ago, but come the fuck on. Do you just not... I can't.
Started bubbling in October of 2023 around the release of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2, with the worst hate coming from users on 4chan, Kiwi Farms, and Twitter. Again, just see the way that they're writing this, and they continue in the last few weeks. Why are they writing this article with, like, present tense? This is all happening back in October of 2023 and in February, March of this year, but they're writing like it literally just happened. Like, are they...
Yeah, they're changing the narrative because they want to have it resurface again for attention. And again, nobody holds people like this accountable because they're all, like, within the same group of people that write the same 5 articles about this. They source each other, and it becomes like a Ouroboros where they're just, like, eating their own butts all the time. And licking their buttholes and be like, yes, they just fucking hate us. White gamers, they just freaking hate us.
Working in certain ways, and they will find something bigger and worse to do with this. So, what are they saying that's so novel about Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, or DEI Detected, or any of those sorts of services? They are the most basic thing ever. They are looking at publicly available information and saying, yep, here's these games that Sweet Baby listed on their website. Consider that whether when you're choosing whether or not to support that game. That's it. People don't like Sweet Baby. They don't want products they worked on. And
they don't even say that. They just list it. They don't even say, oh, you shouldn't buy, you should not buy it if it says Sweet Baby Inc. on it. It says just, here you go, here's a list.
This service provides that information of what they've worked on. That's it. That is not a novel thing that the internet basically in the broader world needs to start adapting for. It's just providing information to people. And of course, we just know the whole story. Sweet Baby and Kim Belair, they are professional victims. They love to play the victim. And here they are teaming up with game developer, helping this article get created, running with this narrative that they did nothing wrong, that they're the innocent victims of a alt-right harassment campaign going across every website they could possibly think of, when in reality, they just got called out because people don't like what they do in the industry, and also their own employees are the true harassers, the true racists, the people who are saying really out-of-pocket stuff. They are true
racists. I'm sorry, I didn't think I'd live in a world where there's a freaking lolly fucking VTuber with a male voice saying the words "a true racist" talking about an article made by game journalists. I can't help but think what crazy timeline I'm in. That's insanity.
Quite literally the demonized version of people in the industry or gamers that Sweet Baby Inc. is always projecting
as opposed to the fake one.
But anyways, that's the latest update involving Sweet Baby Inc. And as always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
I'll see you next time, man. Oh my god. That is powerful. Game devs could sell more in a world without gamers. Wait, yeah, and then they're crying about their studios closing, or, you know, their studios closing and losing their jobs. Anyway, good lord. That was something, man. Seeing slurs on my screen and I'm not launching up and playing DBD or COD? That's crazy work.